Hello, everyone. Glad to invite you all back, see you all back here on one more episode of Careers for Sure. Here, as part of our career options, we have with us a very eminent professor, Dr. Ananth Natu, Chairperson, Governor of IISER Kolkata and IISER Pune since its inception. So, good afternoon, Doctor.
Good
So,
afternoon.
Dr. Natu's main mission has been to motivate the young potential students to study sciences. In the course of our interview, he will be talking to us about how he has gone about this. Just to give a brief introduction about Dr. Natu, he has been awarded the Cross Order of Merit, highest civilian award for foreigners by the German President, Chairman, Board of Governors, IISER Kolkata, German Research Ambassador since 2007. He's been a senior scientist for the last 40 years in National Chemical Laboratory. He has researched in Germany and several countries abroad. He has been involved in the conceptualization, planning, and execution of IISER Pune project and IISER Tirupati of MHRD Government of India. He has served the pharmaceutical industries in India and abroad in various capacities as director, consultant in discovery, process development, and management, teaching experience at master's and PhD level in India and abroad. He has been involved in Indo-German collaborative activities in science, education, and technology. He's been the lead Indian chemistry Olympiad teams in Budapest, Cambridge, and Georgia. And he has also been an active Vigyan Pracharak, delivered more than 300 lectures on opportunities in basic sciences. So that will be the way, that is what we are trying to learn from Dr. Natu today, how students from basic sciences can take up their career forward. He's incidentally a PhD from Pune University with a master's in organic chemistry and a German diploma thing. And I guess Dr. Natu is totally fluent in German language. He can read, write, and speak. So that's a very brief introduction, because actually his introduction I can take another 5-10 minutes to say all that he has done in his various capacities. But I'm going to stop here because we would like to hear more from Dr. Natu himself, and we will be talking about asking him questions relating to careers in basic sciences, as well as what research actually means and what are the kind of research opportunities that India presently has. So Dr. Natu, over to you.
Good morning to all of you, and thank you, Pooja and Nitya, for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. Something which is slightly different from the regular counseling process that you are encountering right now. My name is A. Natu, and I work in IISER Pune before it started. Since before it started, rather. This is my mail ID, which can be shared. The building that I am showing you is 2006, where we started IISER Pune in about 10,000 square feet. Now we are into sprawling about 4 lakh square feet. I'll take you to the end of my presentation. And that is how we would like to do. This is just to tell you how we started. You should always realize from where you started, and then you will realize everything. Okay. See, when I talk to the 10th class or 11th class or 12th class student, what you would like to do, 90% of it comes toward computer engineering, nanotechnology, and whatnot. There are many fancy words for that. This is technology. And but if you just think of the technology, all the big technologies are based on basic sciences. High technology is always based on basic science. That is for sure, 100%. Whether it is chemical technology, whether it is petrochemical, whether it is NASA, astrophysics, you talk of anything, this is the technology, this is the basic sciences. Now, if you ask me what is the difference between the two, because most have been enchanted with this technology business right now. So what is the stake on this? This is the anxiety-based basic research, where you ask the question, always you ask the question how, okay? But here, when you go to technology, you don't ask the question how. The answer is always anyhow. So this is the difference between the basic science and an applied technology. So don't be under impression, those who are going for engineering and computer engineering and whatnot, that you can do without basic sciences. You have to take the basic sciences as it is. Oh, sorry. Okay, let it be there. So when I talk to a 10th class student and talk to him about the research and all of the things, what I feel bad, he immediately tells that he would like to go in for certain computer engineering or whatever it is. And parents also feel that if he doesn't take up a decision on the spot that he passes 10th standard, of course, in a city like Pune, is a fashion to take the things in the 5th standard only, what to decide, what he will become, and so on. So there's utter nonsense, nothing else. So when we talk about it, and everybody says he would like to be computer engineering, he want to be astrophysicist, then I asked him only very, very simple question. I'm very happy. We need a lot of really computer professionals. You just write on a piece of paper, what is computer engineering? Forget about rest of the thing. And if possible, you just write in 5 sentences why you want to do it. I tell you, you take it from me, 99% of the students won't be able to write. Even those who are aspiring for IITs, because I interact with IIT students also. So I realized why. Then I ask him, always the thing, that if you want to buy a small t-shirt or a dress, you go to and spend about time to look for it, look it for about in 20-30 shops. But when it comes to career, why you stop at only 2 shops? And that too, they are heavily crowded in this pandemic. Also, you stand in queue with patients. I'm very happy about it, number one thing. But don't you think that there is a third shop or third alternative, let me put it? Then they say, oh, sir, this research is a very terrible thing, We cannot do any research. I have seen a kind of research phobia is there in their mind. Now, in next 5 to, and our first thing among the careerists, I would like to remove this phobia from your mind by showing few examples how simple observations have led to the biggest technologies in this world. And perhaps then we can take over. So let's start with that. Who is this? This fellow is known as Mark Phelps, and he has won almost all gold medals in the Olympics in last. Look at his dress. His dress is not same as we have been using in swimming. What is so special about his dress? His special dress is known as razor suit. For a swimming, you need 2 things. One, you have to swim very fast, number 1. And number 2, you should be able to swim near the surface of the water so that you can come up, swim, take this thing and go out. Now, if you want to do it, you should have some qualities to do it. And this dress has enabled. How they got the idea of this dress? That is the most important. And if you just see, this idea has come from a very simple example of shark. Shark, in spite of his heavy weight, is one of the fastest fish to run, and he swims near always the surface of the water. If you see his skin, this is possible only because of the structure of his skin. If you just enlarge it, you will be able to see in this skin, what you see is a success. Then there are scientists, one of the scientists, he is not scientist, he went to the Natural History Museum in London. It is the only museum perhaps I have seen where there is no board, don't touch dog, there is no board called don't touch the objects. Instead of it, please touch the objects, feel them and enjoy. So this is the approach they are taking. So one of them went and realized, if the shark can do it with this structure of his skin, can we not repeat it? So what they did, they had taken the elastin, nylon and polyurethane and woven a dress out of it. Then they thought, if shark can do it, the swimmer should be in a position to do it. And these are small things are known as denticles, and that was really successful. Still, as on today, Mark Phelps has about 28 gold medals to his credit. And India has not won this since 1928 also. So this is a thing. Real scheme is somebody observed the simple observation of nature who was not scientist. And then he could grab it, and then the further things are developed. So this is the lesson of the day. Of course, I am putting this slide just to attract the computer professionals here, because this is possible now, because using a new science called computational fluid dynamics, CFD, where you can actually model and see how the shark swims and what are the forces that are acting on this. And now they have stitched those dresses and all. Nowadays, these dresses are not allowed. Mathematics is the mathematics in athletics. There's two books published on that. So what I wanted to bring you out is simple observation as nature and asking question has led to many, many big technologies. Of course, this dress is not used now because the cost is equivalent to Indian Olympiad yearly budget. So they don't allow. And secondly, it takes 4 to 5 hours to put 3 hours to put on this dress, and one dress can be used only 5, 6 times. So this is how things are. But what I would like to point out, really simple observation as nowadays, by the way, these dresses are used for covering the robots in the sea air. Second, very simple example, silence of train. We have seen these trains, and now these trains. When it started, we wanted to have 340 kilometers per hour. We had this, and then when they started designing various things and started, two things. One is it should run fast, and secondly, when it passes through tunnel, it made a huge noise called boom. And that boom was so terrible. That means when you enter from one density atmosphere to another density atmosphere air, it makes booms. So now we wanted to just find out, can we design an engine which will run faster and which will also do, it is known as Shinkansen boom only. Shinkansen was the first name of Japanese train. Then from this to this, how they got this idea? Number one is, if you turn towards this was the idea that was taken from Kingfisher. How Kingfisher? Kingfisher is it flies very fast, number one. Secondly, it has a beautiful skill I have shown here. If there is a fish here and this is water and air, so it changes medium, all the birds who would like to eat make sound here, and the fish runs. He's the only fellow who enters the flies without making noise, takes a fish and goes up. So he has both the qualities, runs fast and this thing. And this is possible because it's typical nature or the typical structure of Kingfish. So this has been completely copied in this. So for big technologies, you don't need scientists, and this was first brought out not by a scientist, but you will be surprised this was brought out by a student, whether it is possible. He could not do it. So don't worry. Nature is everywhere. It's available in Hyderabad. It's available in Delhi, Pune. Simple observation of nature is the key to success. You will be able to find more and more. Let's see 2 more examples more, and then Nitya will turn towards this. We will say you have not seen shark, you have not seen shark, you have not seen. But this is one phenomena that, yes. Is there anybody who has not fallen during the childhood and got a knee injury. Once the knee is injured, what happens? RBCs come out, and then there is a factor called platelet. It also comes out. It becomes activated platelet, and then we just put haldi or anything, try to press it and get it. Have you any time thought why this, how this happens? That kind of curiosity, if you have, this happens in everyday's home, but we never ask this question. What is this? Why it happens fast in my case and not and slow in other case? If you look at the structure of this so-called clot, you'll see dead RBCs, and this fiber-like structure is called the activated platelets. So the order that goes from the brain to the engineer, to assistant engineer, to plumber happens in nanoseconds, and this kind of clot is immediately. Have you ever thought, can you derive this will give rise to one of the biggest technologies in the world? No, because we never ask questions. Why? Why not? When? How? And so on. So once you ask this question, you will be able to do it. This has been successfully used in the gas and pipelines during the from Russia to Germany. There's a 6,000 kilometer long pipeline, and in that pipeline you can really use it very well. There is no problem. You add the synthetic platelets equivalent to the activated platelets, allow it to flow through, and when there is a leakage, it automatically detects and goes. This with the 6,000 kilometer, the loss is only 2% of the total. So you can imagine this has saved billions of dollars in last several years. But this is by simply asking a question of why, how, when to the simple phenomena in the nature. Okay, this is the last example. Everybody has seen the lotus. It doesn't gather the water. This is asked from the 6th standard to 12th standard everywhere. So if you do this, but you have never observed that lotus leaves are never dirty. So a lotus doesn't allow water, and it doesn't allow also the dust. Why? Why you didn't? There are several big leaves. Why it doesn't happen in that case, and why in this? Have you observed? No. Then you should observe. Again, as usual, the surface is very small here. If you can see, is not a smooth surface. I shown here, because of this smooth surface, if it had been smooth, only dirt would have gone out. There's a nicely science behind it. But now it is not so smooth. You can take water as well as the dust particle removed. Crux of the essence, because of this surface structure of the lotus leaf, you will be able to clean the water. And this has been successfully used in a paint. Lutusan, now slowly it has come to the India also, where you put this and it's claimed to prevent algae, microbes, everything. So friends, one mantra, look in the nature, try to ask questions, and how, when, and that will lead to research problem. You don't have to go to London and Paris to find out your research problem. I don't want to go into details of this, but lizards, which everybody hates with a sound E, especially the ladies, has excellent palms, and because of these palms, they can stick to the windows, they can stick to the wall and walk on that. There is a lot of science. Why I wanted to tell you, this is something household which you should look for. And now it has come also in the market. Not only that Superman and Shah Rukh Khan can walk on the wall, there are gecko tapes now available, which which can take up to 5 kilo weight, that can go on the wall. So there are several new things are coming up. I don't want to go. There is a big science. On every slide, I can give 2 talks. I don't want to do that. Ants, insects, cockroaches, their small movements have led to the big research. And don't say that I don't have cockroaches at my home. I don't want to go there. And this is my last example, really last. These are the butterflies and mobile phones. excellent color combination and the design and the texture of butterflies has given rise to one of the biggest technologies that is nowadays used in mobiles. I don't want to answer this because in IISER, after talking, we leave something to the imagination of the students. So I suggest you go through this, and one mantra that I have given you: observe the nature, walk on the street, walk on the road, walk in the jungle. You see something obscure, ask the questions why, when, how, and this thing. And that answer leads you to the problem. Nature is plenty available, especially in India. So I don't think there should be a of the dearth of all these things. So this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to remove the phobia from your mind about the world research. And I think to some extent it's okay. Nitya, how we go about it now?
Sir, if you can stop sharing the thing.
Okay, I have stopped sharing. Good. Now tell.
Excellent, sir. Because I'm a student of STEM myself. My earlier degree was in applied microbiology, and I
Oh,
worked with a
wonderful.
food technology company. Then I moved
Mhm.
to psychology, and now I practice psychology. Uh,
Okay.
so awesome! It was. I love sitting through this kind of lectures, and it was so awesome. Simple observations lead to big technologies, and the best place to observe is nature itself. And asking two questions: how and why and when. So there lies the crux or the foundation stone for all researchers that's happening.